Hello. I just wanted to come on here and chit chat a little bit. I feel like right now I'm in a little bit of a weird headspace. Just feeling very like insecure and very spirally. And this does have to do with like a specific incident that happened today, but I think I've just been thinking about how this kind of why it resonates with me so much today, like why what happened has such a big impact on me, because really what happened has nothing to do with me, nothing to do with my life. So anyway, I'm kind of just thinking about insecurities in general and just how difficult it is in today's world to not feel insecure. And it's just, there's so many aspects to it. I think that social media probably plays the biggest role, which I feel like everybody kind of knows, but I feel like I think just very in-depth about it sometimes, because at the end of the day, I think social media definitely came out as like a decent invention just to keep up with people and just to kind of show your life. But I just think at the end of the day, as we're kind of all aware, the issue with it just seems to lie in the fact that people really only show what they want to show, and so they give off a very specific perception of who they are to the public or to their friends or whoever, and it's just kind of hard to see through that sometimes. It can really make you doubt who you are as a person, and that's a really hard life to live, especially if you grow up and you're just a little bit maybe more insecure than the person next to you. But I guess at the end of the day too, it's really difficult for me to believe that there's almost anybody who's not living a day-to-day life on a somewhat insecure level, and that might sound closed-minded or very pessimistic, but at least where I'm from and a lot of the people who I'm around, there are the types of people who are very open about their insecurities, and it's very refreshing because they're just very real about it, and sometimes not even in a super negative way, but just in a kind of like, you can tell they're down to earth and they are a real person. And there are definitely some people who have a balance and they don't talk negatively on their self at all. I think at the end of the day, I guess what I'm trying to say is I think it's really rare to find a person who's genuinely nice and treats others well and treats themselves well. And I think at the end of the day, how you treat others is a direct correlation to how you view yourself and how you treat yourself. And I think that it's just really sad that in today's world, there seem to be so many people who treat others poorly or with disrespect. And it kind of just goes to show whatever maybe they're projecting. And I think it's hard to acknowledge that maybe that's the reality of where we're at, especially like the younger generations. And I just think it's sad, and I think that I don't know, there's just a variety of people who show their insecurities in different forms, if that makes sense. But in my experience, there are definitely more people who have a variation of showing their insecurity through a negative way than people who may still have insecurities but somehow seem to still have security in who they are. I don't know if that completely makes sense, but anyway, social media I think really has a lot to do with it. And I've noticed this sort of just pattern with myself with social media where I really love to post about my life. I love to take photos. I love just like showcasing my life, and also just almost as a reminder to myself of why I should be grateful for where I'm at. I love to just like take pretty pictures of where I live and my day-to-day life, because I think it helps remind me, it's kind of just romanticizing your life, I think, at the end of the day, and it just helps remind me of why I should feel grateful and blessed and everything like that. So that's really good. But the fact of posting it, I feel like as much as maybe I want to deny it, I think that it still has a lot to do with getting some kind of validation from people, especially my peers, and I think that that really is not good. And it's I think important to address that, and that might be the case. And I think sometimes that's just difficult to do, because I know a lot of the time at the end of the day I'll sit and just say, you know, I want to post because I want to be able to like look back on these like grouped photos at a specific date and time. Like, I don't know, it somehow feels like a scrapbook in a way, but at the same time it's like you're still showcasing it to others. You could obviously do that in a way where you don't have to showcase it to others. And of course too, like the likes that come in and the comments, that's all just validation for your life and your ego. And it's good to acknowledge that. And I just have noticed this cycle, as I was saying, of kind of trying to delete Instagram and be off socials. And it's really Instagram probably that's the most problematic for me. And then I'll go on it on like the website, or I'll re-download it, even just to like post, I might re-download it, and it just turns into this super negative cycle of me looking at other people's accounts and just like not even doom scrolling, but I mean doom scrolling in a way, but not in maybe the like original way of what doom scrolling is supposed to be, but just looking at so many people's accounts, so many other girls my age, just to the point where I feel so down on who I am and how I look and the life I'm living, because I feel like all these other people, they're just portraying themselves in such a way, you know, that it's really hard and difficult to not compare. And I think it is very unnatural to see such a variety of very beautiful people online who, you know, then you look at yourself and you see yourself every single day in the mirror. And obviously, I think as humans too, we kind of just get bored or maybe sick of ourselves. Like, it's hard to not have a super positive perception of who we are in the first place. So then having to look at yourself every single day when you probably do have the most negative view of who you are, that's hard. Like, that's a really, really hard thing. I don't know, I just think being an insecure person seems to just be a part of 2025 daily life, and honestly that makes me so sad to just even say. And I know that there are so many people out there who genuinely are secure in who they are, like secure enough to treat others well, but it makes me really sad that a lot of people who are nice in the world, I think, then tend to be pulled apart by the people who are feeling bad about who they are. You know what I mean? Because I think that it seems to definitely be the more insecure people who tear people apart more, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm saying some rambly stuff, but it kind of feels like a circle. Like, it's like there's the really insecure person who's negative and they tear others down, and then there's the person who's more balanced and they can see good in themselves and they can see lots of good in others and they do truly love themselves. And the person on this end seems to like tear this person down so much that sometimes that person then falls into the spiral of becoming this person again. Like, it just feels like a constant thing and a battle within, and it's a really, really, it's just difficult at the end of the day, I think. And it's hard also, I think, to know what self-growth truly means to you. Like, I think that a lot of people take self-growth maybe to the level of just being egotistical. I think a lot of people attribute their worth to their looks, so then that can kind of be attributed more to like physique and, you know, doing really specific things to make yourself look a specific way that's maybe you know, just more attractive to like general people. What's the word for that? I can't think of it. Anyway, but you know what I mean, like just like more attractive to everybody. Like, I think some people consider growth to mean just clearing up their skin and doing things that fit the beauty standard. And anyway, I think that I don't think that that's good, and I think that maybe the way to get away from that is truly finding who you are and what your passions are. And if you like to, you know, do some specific niche thing that really helps you, I don't know, like feel like you, then that is what you should do. That rhymed. But anyway, I don't know, it's really vague, everything that I'm saying, and that kind of sucks. But I feel like at the end of the day, it really is about people finding who they truly are and what makes them feel like a whole person, like what makes them feel like them. And like painting or crocheting or reading or literally anything, like just anything like that. I think that's what it's about at the end of the day. And I think a lot of people maybe lose the significance of self-worth by attributing it to their physical value or like how people physically look at them. But I feel like at the end of the day too, like going into the gym, obviously that does help your actual health, like that does help your body, and that would help your mental health because it's just helping you feel better. But I just feel like there's such a fine line between only going to the gym because you just want to, you know, have this really specific physique, and I think at some level that's just really shallow, and that's not really going to help your self-worth at the end of the day. But again, I'm saying everything from my own viewpoint, and it's really, really difficult then to talk for everybody, and you can't, because I'm only talking for myself and from how I think. But I just think it's super important for people to find creative outlets and to do things throughout their life that really make them feel like it's unique and individual to them. And I think that that's super duper hard because online it's super easy to get caught up in trends, and even physical trends. Like I think Pilates became kind of a trend for a while for girls. If not, it's still a trend. I think people see other people who do things and then they think like, I want to be like them, so I'm gonna go do that. And it just doesn't feel super individual at the end of the day. And maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's why people feel so insecure at the end of the day as well, because we're just lacking this sense of individuality. And honestly, I don't know, that just, it seems like a bad road for society to go down. And I feel like with the rise of just being able to see everyone so worldwide, I just think it's only gonna get worse, and that makes me sad, and that makes me want to definitely just completely log out of everything and log off and just totally be my own inspiration and be only myself. Literally so cliche, but anyway, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just something I'm thinking about a lot right now. And it makes me really sad right now that I'm feeling at such a loss of who I am on an individual basis, and why I'm important individually, and why it's not essential to be like every other person. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with just attributing my self-worth to other people and how they view me. And then I start thinking about who else they find important and who else they value, and I compare myself to those people. And it is just, it's a lot to be a person nowadays. I think that's maybe just the thing at the end of the day. It's just hard to try to be yourself in today's world. So anyway, I'm just gonna leave it at that. And yeah, I just wanted to come on and say that, and I don't know, hopefully other people can relate and understand what I'm saying, even though it was all kind of vague and